Welcome back, everybody, to another cryptocurrency news article. This one comes out of Produce, and it's on the top insights from Michael Saylor's debate with Doomberg and George Gammon the other day. It was pretty good. Michael Saylor gave some great answers, and also reasons why he still believes Bitcoin is the best hedge against the debasement of fiat currencies. So here we go. Let's go over these highlights. Michael Saylor, executive chairman and former chief executive officer of MicroStrategy, shared some new insights in an interview with George Gammon and private fund manager and commodities analysis Doomberg. In an hour-and-a-half live discussion on Tuesday, Saylor reiterated his theory that Bitcoin is the best hedge against the debasement of fiat currency. Then he faced a series of tough questions and divulged more information on his decision to go all in on Bitcoin. As previously reported, Saylor's major Bitcoin bets haven't exactly paid off this year. It's estimated he bought a total of 129,999 Bitcoins at dollar cost average of $30,634, which is not bad if you look at it in the future. But last month, he was down nearly $1.7 billion or 60.58%. It's the first time that Saylor has spoken so candidly about his quest to turn MicroStrategy into a highly leveraged Bitcoin bet. Now, sad, Saylor sails into the Bitcoin sunset. Before Saylor made the decision to bet big on Bitcoin, his company was at an inflection point. MicroStrategy was stuck in a rut with no clear path to growth. Saylor concluded that if he couldn't move things upward, it had to shut down. That's when he turned to Bitcoin. But why Bitcoin? And why so much? Saylor explained that his decision centered primarily around the low interest rates environment of 2020, at a time when the pandemic had influenced a massive monetary loosening by central banks and bonds were returning negative real yields. To characterize that period, Saylor quoted an infamous speech made that year by Jerome Powell, chair of the Federal Reserve, in which he claimed that the Fed wasn't thinking about raising rates. At that time, its federal funds rate stood at 0.4%. It now sits at 4.5%. Back then, Saylor explained he and many others believed Powell and thought that loose monetary conditions and low interest rates were to last for another 5 years. Only it didn't turn out that way, Saylor admitted in an interview. Indeed, it didn't. Economic conditions changed, interest rates went up, and inflation soared. Bitcoin crashed and failed to serve as an inflation hedge, while the US dollar rose against everything else. Today, MicroStrategy sits on a bag of 130,000 Bitcoin at a total purchase price of around $4 billion and total loss of around $2 billion. Well, it's only loss in theoretical numbers. He still got the Bitcoin, and you only lose if you sell. So as long as he still keeps it, he hasn't lost anything. But in case of an emergency, sell Bitcoin. Saylor shared some insight into how MicroStrategy buys and custodies its Bitcoin. It uses Coinbase and two other U.S. regulated entities. Only Saylor remained coy, refusing to mention which ones. Saylor did, however, assure the audience that these entities are vetted extensively. According to the chairman, who stepped down from his role as chief executive officer in August, MicroStrategy has full control of and access to the Bitcoin against which it is borrowed $205 million from Silvergate Capital. Basically, Silvergate can physically retrieve its collateral if MicroStrategy defaults on its loan. This begs the question on how and why did Saylor manage to prevent Silvergate from holding custody of the collateral? This was George Gammon's tweet when Bitcoin was above 45,000. I said it seemed like there was hysteria in the market, and of course I was then attacked by the cyber hornets that are still a thing. Now seems like there might be some panic, still not buying, but getting more and more interested. In my honest opinion, a great buy signal would be Michael Saylor selling. Now, in case MicroStrategy doesn't have the finance to pay back its loans, Saylor was unequivocally that the firm would sell its Bitcoin stacks. He ruled out the prospect of selling more shares in case of an emergency and stressed that his priority would always be to serve the interests of shareholders. Now, the company's financial situation was fine. As Saylor asserted, he declared that if the firm sold all of its Bitcoins today, it could pay back all of its loans totaling around $1.7 billion. However, Saylor failed to mention that the impact of such a massive sell would have on the price of Bitcoin. I know, like, what would a big, massive sell be if you just massively sold 130,000 Bitcoin, which, again, couldn't happen over a day. That would be like a months-long process to take place. Like no one can literally offload that much cryptocurrencies at a single moment in time. But yeah, but again, Michael Saylor said like also he's good to go down all the way to the price of $3,000 before he hits like any turbulence with his loan with Silvergate and all that. But yeah, those were just some of the top insights though from this debate. It was really good. If you want to listen to yourself, there is that video right here, George Gammon, Doomberg versus Michael Saylor debate. It is on YouTube. All you got, again, type in George Gammon / Doomberg versus Michael Saylor, and you got it. But yeah, well, what do you guys think of this article? How do you still feel about Michael Saylor? I still think he's a pretty cool G and everything. That's just my opinion. But let me know how you feel about him. But if you like this article, don't forget to hit that thumbs up on your way out, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, the Crypto Sherpa is out.